Your unique story, our global audience. Global One Media.
Hello, and welcome to our series of interviews with decision makers and senior leaders of companies across the board to help you, our viewers, make informed and intelligent investment decisions. I am Munir Barazi, your business analyst and host, and today I am pleased to welcome Joel Freudman, the CEO and director of TRU Precious Metals, a company that is advancing gold and copper discoveries at its Golden Rose property in central Newfoundland. TRU Precious Metals is publicly traded on the TSX Venture Exchange as TRU and on the OTCQB as TRUIF. Hello, Joel. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Munir. Very glad to be back.
Welcome. So let's dive right into it. Congratulations on your recent announcement. TRU has secured strategic financing from a key partner, Ormonde Mining. Can you tell us a bit more about this agreement and its terms?
We're exceptionally pleased to have secured a subscription agreement from Ormonde Mining. As you mentioned, it is for a $3 million Canadian investment, which is very substantial, especially in the current market conditions and over the summer. The investment is 3 million Canadian. It's priced at 5-cent units, and each has a half warrant attached. Comparable terms to our last financing earlier this year. And with that investment, Ormonde will take roughly 36% equity ownership stake in TRU, making them instantly the largest shareholder and a controlling shareholder upon completion. So very sizable deal for them, and certainly a sizable deal as well for TRU, which we're very pleased about.
Wonderful, and a very important agreement. I understand there are conditions attached to this agreement. Ormonde Mining has to obtain approval from their shareholders, and they have to delist from the LSE Alternative Investment Market and Euronext Growth. Can you tell us a bit more about this and how it will impact both parties?
Given that this is a major transaction for both parties, there are regulatory or stock exchange and shareholder approvals on both sides. In the case of Ormonde, it may take a little bit longer because of this delisting process that they're going to be going through. These are ordinary course for a transaction of this size and for companies of our size. We have a target date of August 31st for completing this financing, on the basis that both parties have to work through the regulatory approval process. So it does take some time, but then again, good things do take time to materialize, and so both parties have to follow the proper procedures.
And given those updates, what are the next steps for TRU Precious Metals? Given that you've secured this important capital injection, how will you use those resources?
Well, we still have to close on the financing first, so we're very much focused on the path towards closing, including the various approvals that you mentioned. We definitely, though, have an intended use of proceeds in mind. Certainly, some of the capital is going to be going towards the advancement of our flagship Golden Rose project. We've been turning up high-grade gold in channel samples at one of the main targets on the property. We had drilled high-grade copper in another target area on the property. So there's definitely no shortage of gold and copper targets at Golden Rose to explore that are drill-ready stage at this point. So that will certainly be part of the use of proceeds. But as well, we're going to be looking at a number of public company initiatives that we can undertake with this capital infusion once it closes. Without getting too far ahead, it certainly will give us a wider latitude of corporate flexibility, as well as the opportunity to pursue other transactions if they may add value for the company and shareholders. So certainly the capital infusion will be a game changer for TRU and for our investors.
I can imagine. And this subscription agreement signals that Ormonde Mining sees a good opportunity in TRU Precious Metals. Can you tell us a bit more about the role they will take, as well as your role in the operations moving forward?
So, Munir, you actually touched on an interesting point, which is TRU was one of about 24 companies that Ormonde's team thoroughly investigated before choosing to make the investment in TRU Precious Metals. So we're very fortunate and pleased to have been selected, but also it does show that both our company, as well as certainly our Golden Rose project, stood out from a very crowded field after both corporate and technical due diligence. So I think that very much speaks volume to the quality of our asset, which is key, as well as the quality of our management team and exploration team, which is also a value add. Ormonde is going to, at completion, Ormonde is going to put 3 people on a 5-person board for TRU Precious Metals. so they will have board control. They want our management team and our exploration teams to stay in place. Our exploration team is obviously very familiar with Golden Rose, having overseen all the work there for the last few years. And our management team is familiar with the corporate inner workings. And so they're looking for us to remain involved operationally. They have a significant amount they can contribute, though, beyond just capital, which is always kind of important that there's additional value add. In their case, it's heavy technical expertise. One of their consultants was involved in building a mine in Spain into production, very valuable skill set to have. Another one is a geologist who helped discover the Curragh gold deposit in Northern Ireland. That is a 6 million ounce resource. He sees some similarities between that project and our Golden Rose project. So this tells you that we're certainly onto something very interesting at Golden Rose. And then also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the management team. The management team has some transactionally savvy accountants running the company. And so they're going to bring some management and financial expertise to TRU as well to help give us bench strength on both the technical and corporate sides. We've actually added their chairman, Brian Timmins, to our board of directors already, which is terrific. He actually ran one of the largest investing funds in Ireland earlier in his career, comes from an investment banking and financial background. And so he's already getting involved. And it's going to be, I think, again, much deeper bench strength at TRU Precious Metals, drawing on the resources and personnel of Ormonde. So I think it'll be a very synergistic fit.
Indeed, great capabilities on both sides, and sounds like a very good synergy, as you mentioned. My last question is about shareholders. How do you think those recent updates will impact shareholders, both current shareholders and those that are still making their decision?
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ask, especially in a market like this. You're obviously going to issue shares to Ormonde for their stake. What's different than most financings is here it's going to a strategic investor. So regardless of how the share float increases, it's not widely distributed by a bunch of different individuals and institutions who will be making their own individual decisions. This is going to be held by a strategic who's in it for the long haul to build value over the long haul. And so that means significantly tighter cap structure is going to be maintained than would otherwise be the case with a raise of this size. I think that's very important to keep in mind. And in addition, for future shareholders who are looking to make an investment, again, this kind of capital infusion, especially given the overall microcap market conditions, you really don't see most other companies, especially in our sector, pulling off a transaction like this. And so this very much should demarcate TRU as certainly moving up in terms of investor radar and industry recognition, and most importantly, our Golden Rose project capturing wider attention, in this case from Europe. So I think this should really be, a clear game changer for TRU and for current and future investors, in that it's really setting us off on an accelerated trajectory, both we hope from a market appreciation potential and certainly in terms of the exploration and corporate developments that we're able to deliver from here. So, very pleased again to be partnering with Ormonde, and we look forward to bigger and better things as we really get rolling together.
And it's certainly a vote of confidence for other shareholders, I can imagine. Joel Freudman, the CEO and Director of TRU Precious Metals, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all of those updates. We look forward to sharing more with our audience.
Thanks, Monir. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Certainly keep eyes on TRU over the rest of the summer and beyond.